Okay, guys, so you know LeBron James, NBA superstar, is currently being destroyed. And I mean destroyed on Twitter for his tweet about the heroic cop who saved the young lady from being hacked to death yesterday in Columbus, Ohio. And we're going to get all the way into this, so I suggest that you guys buckle your seatbelts. And this is the tweet. A picture of the cop, "You're next," in an hourglass, and the hashtag accountability. I told you guys yesterday, all you're hearing on CNN and MSNBC and on Twitter is black people talking about accountability. And it kind of made me hopeful when I seen accountability everywhere, but then I realized they were talking about the police. And I got sad again. But LeBron James, man, let me tell you something about LeBron James before I destroy him 10 times worse than the people on Twitter are destroying him. I actually like LeBron James. Some of the time. And one of the things he's done that I think is absolutely amazing is that his young homeboys that he grew up with, he came up with in the hood, that he went to the all-white St. Mary's, St. Vincent private school, St. Vincent, St. Mary's, whatever, in Akron, Ohio with, to flee the violence and mediocrity of the black public schools. These two guys standing next to him in this picture, Maverick Carter to the left, well, to the right, and Rich Paul to the left. Like, these is LeBron's boys from back in the day. You hear me? And the fact that they're not hanger-ons, that he's made both of these guys generationally rich, is a testament to, I think, what kind of friend LeBron is. You can talk about his politics and his grandstanding and the fact that he doesn't give two shits about the black community in general, but he cares about his friends. He's helped build Rich Paul into the biggest sports agent, one of them in the NBA, and as a black guy, that's very rare because most of the black athletes in the NFL and the NBA have white personal assistants, white accountants, and white agents. 95% of the black athletes have white agents in this racist country where you can't trust white people. And they gotta kneel before every game because white people is out here chasing black people around. Rich Paul, in the last few years, like 5 years, has come up. And him and Rock Nation, even though Rock Nation is not really, a black company, but we'll just say because Jay-Z's the head of it. Rock Nation and Rich Paul, those two black, I guess, entities have become major players in a white-dominated field. And a big part of that is because of LeBron James, especially Rich Paul. The other guy, Maverick Carter, he's become a great businessman. LeBron gave them, both these guys, a boost, and now they're generationally rich. So they could fall out with LeBron today and be good for the rest of their lives. thanks to LeBron. He did that. So salute to LeBron. Now, on to the destruction and the expose of LeBron. Buckle your seatbelts. So, as we know, LeBron's very upset with that cop for intervening and saving that young black lady from being stabbed. And now listen, stabbings are very, very quick. Like, boom, boom, boom. Like, you can stab somebody 6-7 times in a few seconds. And that blade was long. That was at least a 6-inch blade. For the record, I carry a 3-inch blade with me at all times. Because in DC, you can carry a 3-inch blade. It's legal. If I get stopped by the cops, they'll measure my blade, and the fact that it's 3 inches, I'm good. Okay? So, a lot of people, you're a coon, you hate yourself. I carry a blade for the same reason Micaiah carries a blade. For black people. The 99% of the time, if I have to use this, it's going to be against another black person, defending myself. Because I live in a city where, I don't know where y'all live at, all y'all pro-blacks. I live in a city where a nigga jump on you quick. And you lucky if you get to use a knife. So, I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, I'm just on some high horse or I'm sitting up on some perch looking down. No, I carry a knife just like Micaiah. And I will use that joint just like Micaiah quick. But if the cops come, I'm stopping. I'm chilling out. I'm not going to try to stab nobody right in front of a cop that's got his gun drawn. Nope. Or just a cop, period. I'm gone once I hear the sirens. I hear the sirens in the distance, I'm gone. But LeBron James is upset with that cop because he intervened to save the young black woman's life. And you know how they say the internet is undefeated? Well, the crime blotter is undefeated. The original internet, the crime blotter. And just today, in the paper, an Ohio girl, 13, stabbed to death another 13-year-old girl. And that 13-year-old girl is being charged with murder. Today, in Ohio. You think LeBron James is going to talk about that? So, listen. Wait till you hear this story. Cincinnati, Ohio. A 13-year-old girl has been charged with murder after police say she stabbed another 13-year-old girl to death during a fight. The teen suspect wept Wednesday during her first court appearance. She is accused of killing Nayara Givens. Give me a race on Nayara Givens, since we can't get the pictures because these are minors. Somebody give me a race on Nayara Givens. And make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that PayPal. Make sure you hit that super chat. No one on YouTube or social media gives it to you like this. We gonna go in. Make sure you hit that PayPal, that super chat, that Cash App, share these videos, hit the like button, all that. So she's facing 2 counts of murder and 1 count of felonious assault. Police tell the Cincinnati Enquirer that officers were called to a residence in the Winton Hills neighborhood of Cincinnati just after 9 p.m. on Monday. The stabbing occurred in the green space between the two homes. Where have I seen it? Oh, well, actually, there wasn't a stabbing because a hero cop stepped in and saved the day. But there was almost a stabbing in the green space between two homes a couple of days ago, too. Wow, that's crazy, man. Same time. At the same time. Same state. But if you go on CNN, they're gonna be talking about Capitol riots. They're still talking about the Capitol riots on CNN. Police reform. The two girls reportedly got into a fight, and the suspect is accused of pulling out a pocket knife and cutting the side of Givens' neck. Look how quickly that stuff can happen. She cut that girl in her neck and killed her. Because everybody was talking about, it's just a knife. You could tell these people ain't from the streets, man. I'd show y'all the gun memorial. If I showed y'all the knife memorial, they don't have a knife memorial. But just from the city I live in and knowing how many people get stabbed and knowing how often that is, people get stabbed. Stabbed, my G. All the time. To death. And it be quick. It'd be like boom, boom. And it's over, Jack. Now you gonna bleed out. Now it's not gonna be this one to the neck. Oh my God. To the neck, she didn't have a chance if it was like once that carotid artery is severed, like the clock is ticking. So the girl Nyara Givens was taken to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital but died of her wounds. Both girls were 7th graders at the same school and knew each other before the stabbing. During Wednesday's court appearance, a lawyer for the suspect argued that she be released to her mother. However, the magistrate ordered she remain in custody. Now, you guys do know if she had stabbed that girl in the neck and the girl would have been on life support now or been in critical condition in the hospital, you know that this other girl would be home right now. But since she died, they're going to keep her. You can't make this stuff up. And LeBron James ain't going to say nothing about this. And LeBron James' home of Akron, which is also in Ohio, is experiencing its second record murder year in a row. So last year they set the record. And this year they're on track to top last year. In LeBron James' hometown of Akron, which is in the Cleveland metropolitan area. You wouldn't know this if you talk to LeBron. You would think the biggest thing going on in his world was cops. You wouldn't think that his home city, coming off a record year of murders, was on track to top that already. And it's getting worse. Like literally, it's getting worse. Like they just had a week where they had 4 homicides in a week. Not a peep from LeBron about this. You think he was from a time where everything was hunky-dory, a black utopia. You wouldn't think they'd be setting records for murder as we speak. Here's a defund the police rally in Cleveland. Who thinks these white people really want the police defunded in the Cleveland area? Hit one if you think these white people really want the police defunded. Because I think that with crime skyrocketing in Cleveland and in Akron especially, and murder in the streets, broad daylight murder, I think these white people are virtue signaling. I think they wouldn't even send their kids to school with black kids. What do you think? Yeah, I was right. These same white liberals in Cleveland and Akron and all over Ohio are self-segregating, meaning they're moving into their own neighborhoods. When black people move into the neighborhood, they move further out. They're choosing to only live around white people, and they're choosing to pay taxes for the public schools, but not send their kids there because black kids are there. However, they're in the streets marching and protesting when a black kid gets killed in another state resisting arrest, or a black man, full-grown 50-year-old black man gets killed by police while resisting arrest in another state. But as this paragraph says, this says everything you need to know about the white liberals in Ohio. Listen very closely. Also, no secret is that Cleveland is one of the most segregated metropolitan areas in the nation. That means everywhere around there, including Akron. The Brookings Institution in 2018 ranked Cleveland as the metro area with the 5th worst black-white segregation nationally. So all those white liberals that cheer LeBron on every time he talks about the cops and talks about how bad the cops and bad white people are treating black people all over the country, them people don't want no parts of black people. It goes on to say, our place in the top 5 has not moved since 2000, with a score of 17.9 out of 100 points. Cleveland sits between cities such as Chicago, Detroit, and Buffalo. Such high segregation concentrates and worsens the systemic racism black Clevelanders already face. So these white liberals that are always talking about systematic and institutional, by segregating from black people, moving their kids out of black schools, moving out of black neighborhoods, they're worsening the systemic racism. So it's funny that when you go on CNN and MSNBC, they're always pointing to conservatives as being the reason it's all this systemic racism and all this institutional racism. But really, it's them. And the reason I harp on this so much is because you have to understand that these people know how violent these black schools are and how violent these black communities are. when you see them on the news talking, or you see an interview, or you see them talking to somebody at a protest, and they're like, oh, black people got it so rough. Black people are all saints. That black kid who got killed for resisting police, he's a saint. All black people are great, and I love black people, and the Capitol rioters, we're going to get them for going to the Capitol, and whatever that meant they did to black people, and Black Lives Matter. And they are repulsed by black people. You have to understand that. These white liberals in these cities are repulsed by black people. Just listen to this. In 2014-15 school year, more than 24,600 minority students, most of them black, attended 107 Ohio charters that each enrolled 10 or fewer white students. Basically, the black kids in Ohio all go to schools that have 10 or fewer white kids. And I feel sorry for them 10 white kids, or fewer, because some don't have any. But I feel sorry for whoever them white kids is. More than 6,000 black students attend charter schools where 99% or more of the students are black. Concentrations that statistically put schools at risk of having fewer students who reach proficiency in reading and math. So that last line right there is the one. Because there's no white kids in the school is going to have fewer students who reach proficiency in reading and math. I ain't say that. Them ain't my words. Because the school has less white students, it puts the school at risk of having fewer students who reach proficiency at reading and math. So basically, if you want to raise your test scores, you want to raise your proficiency in math and reading scores in a school, if you're a school, and you how are we going to raise our scores? Bring in some white kids. Our scores are down. Why are the scores down? Our scores were pretty high a few years ago. Why are scores down? White kids left. These are not my words. And Lebron James opened the school in Akron, right, to fix this, right? Who's shocked that LeBron James' school is not really what it was presented to us as? What if you're shocked by that? If you're shocked that the media left out a few key details about LeBron James' private school for black people. Well, let's just talk about one of the key details. The I Promise School, which was opened by the LeBron James Family Foundation and Akron Public Schools. So this school is founded by a tax write-off for LeBron James. So LeBron James Family Foundation is in charge of this. And the Akron Public Schools. This will reportedly eventually cost taxpayers $8 million a year. So fine. Taxpayers, I don't live in Cleveland, but the people of Cleveland, those white people who claim to love black people so much, for the tax base for Cleveland, they're going to pay for that. So, They're going to pay $8 million a year. Fine. If they paying $8 million a year, how much is LeBron paying? What? 30, 40, 50 million? The coverage made it look like the whole thing is LeBron's. Akron Public School District spokesman Mark Williamson said. He did a lot, but the taxpayers should know it's their investment too. The LeBron James Family Foundation, it should be noted, plans his foundation, which is a tax write-off, which everything he do through that foundation is a tax write-off. None of this is his money. This is the LeBron James Family Foundation. Plans to spend at least $2 million annually when the school is grown to capacity. You didn't hear none of that on the news, did you? That the taxpayers gonna be paying $8 million a year, and LeBron James plans through his foundation, that's a tax write-off, to spend at least $2 million annually when the school has grown to capacity. You didn't know that, did you? Hit the like button, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App, hit the Super Chat. Like these videos, we going in. We ain't done yet. And of course, people are stunned by the criticism that LeBron James is receiving. And of course, you're stunned because you didn't know about it. Because the media ain't reporting the criticism he's receiving. So you're stunned that there's criticism because you ain't hearing nothing about it on CNN or MSNBC. And the liberals who do know about it are stunned. How could anybody criticize LeBron James for getting on TV and saying that he opened in the damn school and he that you gonna pay for? You opened in the school. He just put his name on it. Wow.
It's been a violent weekend in Columbus. Shootings across the city killing 3 people and injuring several others. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office released this surveillance video in connection with last night's shooting that shows the crowd scrambling after shots were fired. 1 person was killed, 5 were injured, including a 12-year-old. This surveillance video shows shots coming through the windows of the store. Authorities say a group of people gathered at a Dollar General on Chatterton Road to commemorate the death of Jaron Hickman, who had been killed there 1 year earlier, when someone inside a dark-colored SUV drove by and started shooting. 39-year-old Latoya Carpenter was driving past the group when she was shot. She died at the scene.
Hold on, what? Stop. There was a mass shooting in Columbus a few days ago? What? At a vigil for a guy who had been murdered last year? What? So a few days ago, there was a mass shooting in Columbus. The whole world was in Columbus 2 days ago and yesterday. For the last 2 days, The whole media, MSNBC, CNN, all the newspapers, 1,000. Everybody left Minneapolis after the George Floyd trial verdict, and all those reporters and all those activists got on the planes, first class planes, and booked up every free hotel room in Columbus and jetted down to Columbus. And we ain't heard nothing about this mass shooting that happened a few days ago, where this woman was killed. LaToya. Not a person that was at the vigil that was shot up. A vigil where a bunch of black people went to commemorate another black person that died a year before. And someone came and sprayed the place. She wasn't at that. She was driving by. At the time, just happened to be driving by. And got hit with a stray bullet and killed. And it's interesting she got on pink. Pink is a bad color to be wearing in Columbus, man. If you got on pink and you in Columbus right now, take that shit off. Anybody wearing pink in Columbus is in trouble, Jack. I'm going to tell you that right now. Goodness gracious. So, the entire state, the entire media apparatus of the United States is in Columbus because this girl in the black was killed while trying to kill this girl. A day before, this girl was killed at a mass shooting, which is something we've been talking about all over, right? Mass shooting, like, right? That's what we're supposed to be talking about in the country just last week. Last few weeks, it's been a mass shootings. Not only are they not there for this, but this isn't even a sidebar. This not even like nothing about this mass shooting that happened in Columbus, the city where the entire media apparatus of the United States is. Nothing about this. Not a word.
On her way to my house to pick up my niece and my grandson.
On the day her family would fill her house with love,
We have Sunday dinners every Sunday. Every Sunday.
Danielle Carpenter is now surrounded by sorrow. Her sister LaToya was just killed by a stray bullet to the head while driving down Chatterton Road. 5 others were shot by the gunman, including a 12-year-old who were holding a vigil for Jaron Hickman. He was murdered here a year earlier.
I played a few gospel songs. Well, one gospel song. It was led by prayer.
Security cameras from the Dollar General capture bullets shooting through the store's doors and windows. You can also see members of that vigil run from the gunfire.
When the gunshot stopped, I looked up and you could see that somebody wasn't getting up.
Janae Patrick, with Mothers of Murdered Columbus Children, said she ran to help a man shot in the leg until paramedics showed up. She tells me she regrets not running across the street where LaToya had crashed her car. LaToya's daughter was behind her mom and ran to her. She said her mom was already dead.
Like the police told me, just imagine if your mom didn't swerve out in front of you. That would have been me. So that's how I look at it.
This girl riding in a car with her mother. Boom, her mother's dead. You think Biden gonna give her a phone call? You think the mayor of Columbus gonna give her a phone call? You think a city councilman from Columbus gonna give her a phone call and apologize for what happened to her? She ride in the car with her mother. They probably didn't even know the vigil was going on until later, until the news told them. All they know is that they're riding down the street. They ain't got nothing to do with the vigil. All they know is that a bullet flew in the car and hit the mother and she dead on the spot. LeBron ain't got nothing to say about this. And this happened in the same city. This is the thing you got to understand. Everything I'm talking about in here happened in Ohio at least. Or in LeBron James' hometown of Akron, Ohio. In the last few days. Well, the whole media from everywhere that left Minneapolis after the verdict and ran down here. And you ain't heard a peep about it.
Like the police told me, just imagine if your mom didn't swerve out in front of you. That would have been me. So that's how I look at it. She said you would. She did.
Every day when one of my kids leave the house, I worry that I'm gonna get that phone call that I got yesterday, that I got from my sister. I worry every day. The violence here is so bad in Columbus. I don't even want to be in Columbus no more.
Danielle is now asking for the gunman who killed her sister to turn himself in. Detectives say they have limited information to go on, but believe the suspect or suspects were in this dark-colored SUV, possibly a Dodge Durango.
I always was her protector, and I'm just angry because I wasn't there to protect her.
On your side in East Columbus, Lisa Rantala for ABC 6 News.
If only there was a group of millionaire black men in that state with a huge profile and a huge platform that could call for the police to find that man who killed that woman at that vigil. Too bad those people in Ohio don't have anybody with a large enough platform to make a fuss about it so that, you know, enough pressure could be put until that guy who killed that woman could be brought to justice. Wishful thinking. So, Akron, much like Columbus, as we've seen in every other city, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Toledo, Youngstown, every little city in Ohio is experiencing the same thing. Black on black violence. And which makes up the majority of all the violence, the vast majority of all the violence in the city. So if you remove black people from the city would be a very safe place. Now, I always talk to you about population. So Akron is 60% white and 30% black. And I tell you, if the city has more than 10% black people, they're going to have a huge gun violence problem. And that 10% is going to make up the vast majority of the gun violence victims and suspects. So Akron is 30% black. And as we know, they're having a record year in homicides after 2020, which was the previous record year. So things are getting worse in Akron. Like, for instance, this is just a clip from the Akron News today. This is just some things that's going on in Akron. So when LeBron James goes online, even if you want to say he's in LA, he don't know nothing about what's going on in Ohio. Even though he just tweeted about something that was going on in Ohio. Let's just play that game. He don't know nothing about what's going on. If he looks on his local news, and the Akron News, this is what he'll see. So is it any wonder that LeBron chose to go to St. Vincent St. Mary's High School, a private Catholic school for high school. A school that's 70% white and 20% black. Instead of going to the local Akron public schools and charter schools, which have we seen, most of them, you're lucky if you got 10 white students in the whole school, but the vast majority of them are 99% black. 99% black or more. So no wonder LeBron took his talents to White Beach. LeBron took his talents to White Beach. And I don't blame him. And off to the Gun Memorial for Akron, Ohio. LeBron James' hometown, that's experiencing a record year in homicides. While he complains that a potential homicide was thwarted in Columbus. He's whining that a potential homicide was thwarted in Columbus. The same day, another 13-year-old girl stabbed another 13-year-old girl in the neck in the same state. But he has nothing to say about this gun memorial. Let's see who's on the gun memorial in Akron. %70 white city. Do you think LeBron said anything when these two kids were killed? Eight-year-old girl shot and killed at an Akron birthday party. A 14-year-old was also injured. Did we just do a story on a shooting at a birthday party yesterday on this channel? I think we did. But you think LeBron said anything about this girl, this 8-year-old girl being shot and killed when thugs drove by a birthday party for little girls and shot it up? Also shot a 14-year-old. I don't remember Michaela Pickett's name trending, so. You think he said something when 1-year-old Tyree Housel was killed in Akron in a triple shooting? And I told you guys about triple shooting. If it's 160 mass shootings so far this year, it's 1,000 triple shootings. I don't remember this boy's name trending. I don't remember any tweets from LeBron James. But just as in every city, Akron's no different. Everybody on the gun memorial is black. Get in the comment section, hit that PayPal, hit that Cash App, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe to this channel if you're new here. Peace. I'm